Okay, so this is another project I'm working on. This is a Infocus projector. Back in the day, it was kind of pricey. It was about $22,000. It was a 3-chip DLP. I did not pay that much for it. I got a refurbished unit for a lot less than that. But it's still a really nice projector. And what I'm going to show is there's a cover that goes here in front, and there's an escutcheon ring that goes here, and it broke and fell off. And so I'm going to show how I'm repairing that on this. Obviously, you can't order that part anymore. Could I run the projector this way? Sure. That doesn't look all that pretty, but I could run it that way. It'll still work. So let me go to the other. Go show you where the other piece is, and I'll explain what's going on there. All right, so this is the front part of the projector, and this is that escutcheon, I guess. And what happened is it broke off. I don't know if it's the heat or just maybe time or whatever, but definitely goes like that. There's some screws, and that's the front end. Okay. I didn't realize that in order to get this off, you're supposed to pull these guys off of here. They just kind of snap in there and you pull them off. And then there's a screw right there, this guy. And I pulled the thing off and I broke this part right here. So that part goes there. Okay. And then all these other little parts. All these little parts, I'm gonna super glue them on there. Super glue them back. This, I'm just gonna put super glue on these guys and put it in there, and hopefully it'll stay. Likewise on this side, I've already glued this part right here. It's as best as I could. It's there. And so what I'm going to do to support this, I'm going to scratch it, and then I'm going to take some JB Weld, and I'm just going to put it all around. I'm going to probably lay it like so that JB all sits on there. To support this, I guess I could get like a Whataburger or a credit card. I keep saying Whataburger, but because those little cards that come, and you just scratch it. You cut it out to this part right here, and then you put a whole bunch of epoxy, and then you just put the card up against it, and I can show you. Let me show you how that would work. Because I've done this before. So this is a power supply that I repaired. Capacitor was bad in there, and this certain type of power supply, there's no screws to take it apart, so you kind of have to break it. And I ended up breaking this part when I was breaking it open. I really broke that, and it was really messed up. It was there's a whole bunch of little cracks and stuff, and I managed to kind of super glue it together. But to give it support, this is a credit card. When your credit card runs out and they send you a new one, I just have them there. And so I just scratched one side, and then I put a whole bunch of epoxy in there, and then put it on there, and it's good. And I just put some epoxy around here. So that I could very well do over here. Over here and here. I know I might do it. So, but first, what you want to do is just take some super glue all the pieces back together, and then you definitely need to scratch. You definitely need to scratch the surface whenever you're gonna, if you're gonna laminate something like this on top of the piece to give it some support. You definitely want to scratch the surface so the epoxy has something to hold on to. And the whole idea with epoxy, I mean, this whole hole right here, you know, it's not gonna, no one's gonna be like messing around with it, but the whole idea with epoxy is that, and even just regular wood glue is the more surface area that you have, the stronger it's gonna grip. So, anyway, so that's kind of what I'm gonna be doing with this project. You know, like I said, this I'm just gonna glue it in, super glue it. You know, if I try to take the little pieces out in there, you know, I could break them even worse, and then I would definitely just have to super epoxy that whole thing in there. Does the projector need this to work properly? No. This has kind of been hanging on the, you know, the lens is like this, and it's just kind of been hanging on the lens. It didn't, you know, it didn't perform. It didn't affect any of the performance of the projector. But anyway, so that's how you would go around fixing that for pieces that you cannot get anymore. Obviously, if you know if this is really damaged, just leave it off and be done with it. So, okay, I'll be back in a bit. All right, so I'm gonna start by putting some glue on this stuff, or on this part. You gotta be real careful with super glue because you don't want to get it on your fingers and then touch your face or anything like that, because you might stick your fingers to your face. Alright, so that's on there fairly decent. And then now this guy, I think, goes this way. Yep. So I'll just put glue over here. Yeah, put some glue here also. Again, try not to get it on your fingers. Come on. I know you came off of here. It's so bizarre, it didn't want to. I think it's this part is. Okay, hope everybody's doing well. I'm back. So what I've done so far is I've super glued these, and one of them, I think this one didn't glue very well. I really couldn't unscrew the screws because inside this little cylinder is the little protruding plastic that comes up that the screw goes into, and it was really difficult to try and remove that little piece. You know, it was a piece that was probably about maybe that big, to take them out and then super glue them onto this thing and then go back and screw these in, and what was probably going to happen is they were going to break anyway. So I kind of super glued that in. One of them, this one didn't take very well, so what I'm going to do is with JB Weld, I'm going to, not a sponsor, I'm going to again scratch the surface around here, around these guys, put JB Weld there so that thing doesn't come loose. I've already super glued all these guys, on there. And so what I've done is, this is an old credit card. And one thing you do have to do if you're going to use this is you got to get down to the plastic. And so there is this plastic sheet. Maybe I can see that. Oh, that didn't come off very well. Anyway, so you do have to take off the plastic part of it from the part, from this. And then you need to scratch this with some sandpaper. Yeah, that came off pretty. Yeah. Anyway, I'm showing you guys, that some of them come off real easy. See, like that. Like that's coming off. All right. This side I've already pulled off. So this is a piece. Whoop, this is a piece that I'm going to use right here. I'm going to support that. Just put a bunch of epoxy and put it right there, and then I have some little clamps. And then I got it Hobby Lobby that'll hold that on there. So just to support this plastic piece up here, and then I made these guys, and I'm gonna put JB Weld around there, and then I'm gonna do that and come in with a clamp. I guess you could even use these guys right here. Let's see, these guys might even work. Yeah, something like that. And then just leave it overnight and let it set and stuff, and that'll support. That'll support this from breaking anymore. So anyway, so that's where this is going. Okay. All right. Talk to y'all later. Okay. I thought it was just funny. I thought I'd show y'all. That magnetic strip. It's not on the plastic. On this plastic card, it's on that part. Kind of interesting the way these things are made. Anyway, thought I'd show you where the actual magnetic strip is. Okay, hey, I'm back. I hope everybody's doing well. So what I've managed to do is I did super glue these in, but one of them didn't. I think it's this one. I think I explained in another video, but what the screw is going into a plastic protrusion that's coming up, similar to, say, something like this, except the hole's a little bit, smaller, and it's snapped right at the bottom. And I was going to have a real hard time taking it out without breaking that little piece that's in here. So I just, excuse me, so what I did is I just said, you know what, I'm just going to super glue them. And then with these guys, I held them down, and this one didn't take very well. So what I'm going to do is this is all already been all super glued, and what I'm doing is I'm going to take some JB Weld, not a sponsor, and I'm going to put some support in the form of a credit card, the plastic. I've scratched it. I've scratched this area, and this is going to go right here like that. Okay. All right, and I'll take a clamp. These I got at Hobby Lobby, not a sponsor, and I'll do that to hold that in. Obviously it's going to have JB Weld, and then, and I'm just adding strength to these guys right here. And then I've done this to the credit card, and I'll put JB Weld, and I'll do that. And then of course I'll bring in another clamp, and hopefully, it'll stay there overnight or by the end of the day today. And because these guys, I didn't know that you had to remove these guys from here, okay, and that there was a screw going in through here holding this up. This piece right here, this piece had already broken off and it was hanging on the lens, and so I just grabbed it and I pulled it, and it was so brittle that it broke. It broke here. So I'm just going to support that. Again, they don't. I want to say this comes off an Infocus. Infocus. I want to say P777. I think. Again, it's a brand new. They were really expensive, and I bought it used. Anyway, refurbished, I guess you could say, for a very reduced price. And it's a 3-chip DLP 1080i, and I got a 92-inch screen, and it's like we go to the movies every day. And then I got a 12.2 surround sound system, and anyway, sounds real nice. All right, so I'm not going to bore you guys with the detail of mixing, 1-to-1 of this, mixing it up, and then putting it on, whatever. I'm not going to bore you with that. I'll just come back after I have the clamps and all that done, but I'm kind of just telling you what I did. Earlier video shows that, I was gluing these guys together with super glue. This is a one-shot deal. Surprisingly, even though it's open, this will stay good for a couple of days. So you got to be real careful not to go grab it and push it, because it'll get all over your hands and whatever. So, but even though it's open, it'll stay good for a couple of days. So that's where I'm going with this. Okay. All right. See y'all in a bit.